Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kassiah. This is SiahSwag and I have a cute new video for you today. I'm so in love with how this bag just turned out. We will be sewing up the brand new September Bag of the Month bag. If you guys haven't heard of the Bag of the Month Club, it is super fun. It's a club that you join. You get 3 patterns once every month for 3 months, and they are secret brand new bags that the designers have made for the club. So it's kind of fun, guys. Go check it out. I will link all the information for that below. But the first designer for September is Tara of UhOh Creations. And if you don't know, Tara has one of my favorite patterns, the Louis waist bag, which I have made over and over and over again. She came up with such a cute bag for this, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is the Piero Sling bag. Am I saying that right? I don't know. A sling pack. The Piero Sling pack. You guys, it is such a cute pattern. I absolutely love it. This one is the second one I made. I did 2 different types of materials for each one. So this is the one that we make in the pattern today. And I love the end result of this bag. It is so cute. You can wear it on the front, just like this, or you can wear it on the back, of course. Seriously, it is a little cute bag. I love it. So I am going to show you how to make this one today. I did all vinyl, and then I did a Smoothie Smooth from Tulip Bee. So this floral is from Wonderground. The black is from Tulip Bee, and the inside pink is from Tulip Bee. It's her Smoothie Smooth. And I interfaced it just as she did in the pattern. I just used foam on this main panel, and I actually thought I was going to want to use Decaville after making this for my next one, but no, I think I will do foam again. It turned out so good. I talk about maybe doing Decaville next time. I don't think I will. Okay, so we make 2 straps because in the pattern, she has you using like a cotton or canvas, and you're sewing them wrong sides together, and you're pulling it right side out to make, so you make a tube and you pull it right side out. It's a struggle for me with this wax canvas. It was doable, but there's foam inside of it too, and you're turning it through this hole. So I show you how to make it that way, the way the pattern is written with this wax canvas, but I also show you how to do it a little bit differently with some vinyl. And you're not turning it through if you do it with vinyl. So I kind of came up with my own little system for doing it. So I do show both ways to do the strap. It is a bound bag, so don't let that scare you. It's not hard. I just love this pattern, you guys. She did such a great job designing this. I love the strap. I love the big strap on it. It's simple. It has one opening. It's got this is a front slip pocket here. It is great. It is absolutely great. So my first practice one, I did all out of waxed canvas. So this is my first practice one, which I would have preferred just a little extra structure with the wax canvas, but I love the way the vinyl turned out. So, I love the pattern, Tara. You did a good job. Look at that inside. My inside is like a Starbucks pink drink, which is my favorite. I got that from My Little Shindig. Go check her out. And then all of my wax canvas is from Wonderground. And then hardware from me. Webbing. I don't remember. Fabric Therapy maybe and Wonderground. So, you guys. It's so cute. All right. I hope this tutorial helps you. If you want the pattern, you need to go join the Bag of the Month Club. It goes for 3 months. New pattern, September, October, November. And they are awesome designers this month. So definitely go check it out. And let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's make this cutie. Okay, let's go over the Piero Sling pack and all the pieces, the interfacing. I am doing just like she has in the pattern. I'm tempted on my next one to make a more structured bag with Decavelle Light, but I'm going to do it as written for this video so you can see the kind of shape it gives it. It's more a softer foam form, which I think is what she's going for. So it's great either way. All right, so our first pieces are our gusset ends. You should have 4 total mirrored. So you wanna mirror each of those exterior and lining pieces. So 4 total of your gusset ends. I have my back body, 1 exterior of that. My slip pocket, you should have an exterior and a lining. The pocket flap, I have an exterior and a lining of that. My zipper panel, I have my front zip gusset, which is a lining and an exterior. And I have my back zip gusset, same thing, lining and exterior. What's this one? A pocket lining piece, you should have 1. And then this is my main body piece. This is the main lining, and you cut it on the fold. So it's a nice big long piece like this, okay? So make sure you're paying attention to your pattern piece and cut that on the fold. And then same with your interfacing with your foam. You cut it on the fold here. This is gonna be attached after we put the main exterior body together. We'll spray this on and attach it. And then I think one would be really cute quilted. You'd probably have to leave off the pocket, but I think it would be really cute. Anyways, you could still put on the pocket. Yeah, you could still do that. My strap, I've got 2, I'm doing it out of wax canvas. So it is a strap that you have to pull right side out. It's a little rough. It's a little hard. It has foam and 2 pieces here. I was thinking if you did it with vinyl, you would just have to fold in your edges and sew them together instead of turning them out, which is totally doable as well. But I wanted to show you how the pattern's written. Normally, if I'm doing a vinyl bag, I would have a vinyl strap, but I like the wax canvas too, and it made a great strap on my first bag. So we're gonna do that again. So I have 2 of those and my foam for the inside of that. I have a flap tab and 2 strap anchors. The flap tab is on that little slip pocket on the front. For hardware and other things, I have 1 zipper tape cut to the length it needs to. I have some fold over elastic. You can do a regular binding. Fold over elastic is totally up to you. This is my preference. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have some webbing here. It connects with the shoulder strap. The length she gives in the pattern makes a pretty long strap. So if you're a smaller person, I would suggest taking off a couple inches off of this piece right here. And then for hardware, we have a 1-inch swivel clip, 2 3/4 D-rings, a slide. I like to use these non-adjustable skinnier slides when I'm using just webbing like this. So they kind of stay put a little bit better and they don't, undo when you don't want them to. So this is the perfect slide for webbing. And then I have these 2 cute zipper pulls that I got from my Handmade Space. I'm really excited to use them. I think they're really cute. And that is it. I'll have a name tag that I'm going to add, and then those are all my pieces. Let's start sewing this bag. Okay, to start, we're gonna make our strap anchors, our D-ring connectors. So I have my piece, my middle line marked with some tape, and we're just folding the raw edges to that center line. And we're gonna top stitch down each one and connect our D-ring on there and just prep these so they're done and out of the way. Nothing different or unusual about this. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to top stitch down both sides. And I just like to put both of mine in at the same time and do them together. And I'll just come over to the other side and go back down the other way. Okay, so we got 2 top stitched there. I'm just going to put my D-ring and we'll just baste that together. Pretty easy. So those are all prepped and ready to go. I'm just going to put those aside. And we are going to get our strap pieces out here. So these are my 2 strap pieces. I am first going to baste my foam onto one side here. Okay. I don't have it basted on, but before I do that, I'm going to trim, I didn't do this on my last one. I'm going to trim some of this foam out of the top, so it's not as thick when I'm attaching it to my bag. It was pretty thick last time. So we're just gonna reduce that now before I baste it. All right, here we go. So I'm just basting. I'm gonna make my stitch length a little bit bigger and we're gonna go all the way around. Now, if I was doing this with vinyl, I would do this differently. I'd be probably folding in my raw edges and doing that first before I put the foam in between the 2 layers. Because you don't really want the foam all the way on your raw edge and then folding it in to do the vinyl. It's a little bit different construction, and I think Tara, the designer, is going to have either a video or a demonstration on how to do it. Okay, so now my foam's basted on there. I want to get my webbing. Okay, make sure your ends are nice and sealed with a lighter. Okay, and you want to just baste that to the skinnier end, centered with about 1 inch hanging off. So we're going to baste that on. And I'm eyeballing my centers. Pretty easy to see, I think. All right. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now I want to put these 2 layers together. I am going to sew all around except for this end down here, okay? I'm not sewing that in because then we got to turn it through, which it's hard with these layers to turn this through, but it is doable. I did it last time just fine. Well, not just fine. It took me a second. But once you get it going, it works fine. But just have some patience with it. Again, if you don't want to turn it through, you could fold your raw edges in and just sew top stitch the 2 layers together. That would totally work for this strap too. I just want to show you the way the pattern is written though first. And I'm just clipping to make sure that nothing shifts as I sew these layers together. Okay. Again, all the way around, except for this edge down here. You don't want to sew this edge shut. That's going to be your turn hole. Okay. And I think seam allowance. Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, so there is that all sewn up. I am going to trim. I want to trim this seam down. I don't want such a thick, big seam. And then I will start pulling it through. I probably will stop the camera. It's going to take me a second to get it started, or I'll fast forward it, one of the two. Maybe I'll record it and decide later. Okay, so the trick for pulling things through like this is that you want to get this kind of shoved in there. And so this is what takes me a hot second, getting this piece to kind of go in on itself. Okay, so this takes me a second. Okay, I finally got it in. I ended up using my chopstick and kind of shoving it. It's not the easiest thing to turn. It's doable. I broke a sweat doing it. Probably the hardest part of the whole bag. Like I said, I feel like you could do a vinyl strap as well, and then you wouldn't have to turn it like this. So it's totally up to you how you want to do it. But now it comes through, should come through slowly but surely. I feel like if you had cotton material, it'd probably be way easier. I don't love using cottons on bags. Okay, so now it's turned through, but I need to get all of my ends kind of pulled and my seams nice and flat. And that pulled out. Okay, so I'm going to take my chopstick down in there and kind of drop it all the way in. and push this out down here so it looks nice. There it goes. Looks good. Okay. Beautiful. So now I just want to get my seam line nice and flat, and I'm going to top stitch. So I like to kind of roll it out and give it a clip. And then she suggests also sewing a line down the center of it. So I'll be doing that. I'll top stitch it first, and then I'll mark a center line going down and do a row down the middle. I'm tempted to go cut out a vinyl strap to kind of show you that as well. I think I might do that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go cut a vinyl strap too, so you guys can see both ways, okay? All right, let's top stitch this. All right, since this is wax canvas, I can kind of use my ruler to mark my center line here. So my center is about right there. Okay, now I'm going to sew a line down the middle. And there is my shoulder strap. So, looks awesome. Looks good. I'm going to go cut out some vinyl real quick, and I'll show you how to do a vinyl one that you don't have to turn. Okay, so I think there's a couple ways that you could do a vinyl strap for this. This is the way that I'm going to do it. I think it'll work. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I have my 2 pieces of vinyl here. This is a thinner vinyl. So just be aware of your thickness and what your machine can handle. I folded my edges in evenly for the seam allowance, 3/8 on these long edges, the 4 long edges. And then along this edge, I kind of trimmed it down just a little bit so it's not so thick. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my webbing here and I'm going to sew these 2 right sides together with the webbing in between. And then I'll turn it out like that and then sew my 2 layers together with the foam in between. I think this will work. So I'm going to put my webbing right here with some sticking out there. Okay. And then I'm going to sandwich this on top, right sides together with the webbing in between, and line those up together. Okay. Just like that. I'm going to do a couple rows of stitching along that top edge. And then we'll sew the layers together. All right, let's try it. And then I can also trim these little this vinyl right here down, okay? So the webbing's in between the 2 layers. Now I'm going to turn that out, okay? Just like that. So now my wrong sides are together and my vinyl is coming out the end. That looks, yep, I like that. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And now I'm going to spray baste. I'm gonna get some just temporary adhesive. I'm going to use this for the bag as well when we insert the foam. I'm going to use this and just kind of attach it here where I want it, and then I'll sandwich it in between, and then we'll sew it up. You could even put it on both sides if you wanted. Okay, here we go. So I cut it so it would be in between the layers and not right in my seam on top. Okay, so I just want to sandwich it in between, just like that. And then I'm going to put that on top. Ooh, okay. I think it's going to work, guys. So there you go. If you don't want to pull layers through, like we did on the first one, you can do vinyl like this. You could do any type of material with it sandwiched together like this, I would guess. Okay. And then I will just top stitch these layers together. And then I think I will also do the line down the center like we did on the first strap. I think I'm going to use this strap on this bag. It matches a little bit better for the style. So I think this is the one I'm going to use. You could also use tape to tape these 2 layers together if you really wanted them to not move. I'm just putting a kajillion trillion clips, which I think will do the job. All right. And again, my foam is not up here. I want to leave this lighter because that's where it's attaching to the bag. But when it's all said and done, this will be your vinyl strap. All right, I'm just gonna check both sides and make sure I attached the layers evenly. Ugh, looks good. All right, so now I want to find my center line, and I'm just going to sew a line down the middle, and then we'll be done. Hopefully that helps for people who wanted to do a vinyl strap. Gives you an option. Yeah, and I'm trying to do math while I talk. I think my middle, I never know where my middle is at. Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, there. I was pretty close. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but pretty close to it would be good. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna sew down the middle, and then we'll move on. I definitely like the look of it with that line down the middle. I think it kind of finishes out the strap for sure. Ugh, that looks pretty. So there is my vinyl strap, and there is my waxed canvas strap. So either way, you guys pick and choose. Let's move on. Okay, so we're gonna work on the front slip pocket. So I have the slip pocket pieces right here. We're going to place them right sides together, and we are going to sew across this top edge right here, turn it out, and top stitch it. Very simple. And then we will also baste the sides together as well. So I'm going to sew the top edge. Okay, I'm gonna just press that nice, turn it right sides out, wrong sides together. And then I'm going to top stitch, and then I will also baste these two pieces here together. So I'll put a couple clips on it so it just stays in place. All right, here we go. Okay, so next we go to our top flap and our tab. I'm going to put my name tag on real quick right up here because I think that's where I want it. I think that'll be a cute spot for it. So I'm just going to, I think I like the dark pink because we're doing all the lighter pinks, and I think that'll look cute. So we're going to just sew that on real quick. Get it centered on there as best I can. Just gonna mark my centers top and bottom real quick, because that never hurts. All right. Let's mark it out. Come on. I think I'll go 2 inches up. That looks pretty good. Very cute. Right there. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to tie that off and then we'll continue. That looks good. I like it. Okay, I decided to trade my canvas, my wax canvas tab out for some vinyl because I'm going to use the vinyl strap instead of the canvas strap on the bag. So, all right, here we go. Maybe. All right, so you want to fold your raw edges in. You're going to top stitch. It's just a tiny little thing. It's just a 1/2 inch wide when you're done. So it really is just a tiny little loop. All right, so we're just going to top stitch. And then I'm just going to fold it together and baste it. Oh my goodness. All right. And then I want to take my exterior and I'm just going to baste it right here. Raw edges aligned. So you're aligning the raw edges. So right there, we're just going to baste that on, centered. Just like that. And then you're going to take your lining piece and sandwich and clip this edge, this funky edge down here where we just sewed on the loop. And we're sewing just this area down here. We're just sewing from here to here. And then we'll turn it right side out. And if you need to draw your seam allowance on this, go for it. Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to use my pinking shears and trim that a little bit. Okay, and then you want to turn it right sides out. Okay, just get all of that seam pressed out nice. And then we will top stitch and baste the edges together, the raw edges. Okay, so I'll also just put a couple clips along here. Okay, so that's what you have. When that's all sewn, you got your little loop. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch and then baste. So cute. So now these two are going together just like that. All right, so I'm going to grab my lining piece here. Okay, your pocket lining piece. I am going to mark my centers. I know on the final pattern pieces, she has all of the markings for this pocket placement and where it's all supposed to go. So you should be able to line it up really nicely. I'm just going to mark my top and bottom centers here. And that should be good. Okay, so you want your pocket lining piece right side up. You want this bottom piece. You want your linings together, okay? We're just piecing together this pocket now. And then this one right here, you want those top centers lining up. And it should line up. So these two seams right here where the two pieces meet do not overlap. They should just meet together right there, which this does. Okay. If they overlap, it's not the end of the world, but you're going to have a little bit more bulk in there if they do. Okay. So cute. All right, so now I'm going to baste that all on. I'm going to start like right here. Okay, so that's my front pocket of the bag. Very cute. All right, next step. So now we need to piece our front pocket piece with the rest of our exterior main body panel. So you have two different ends here. We want the concave curved end. It's really cool how she fits these two in together. So you want to take this one, and we are going to sew them together in that curve, okay? So first you want to match up. I'm gonna use my stronger clips for this. Match up those two center markings, okay? So make sure you have your centers marked. I'm just gonna put a couple of clips here. Okay, I like to do that first, and then you're gonna bring this to the edge here and line up this flat, straight part with the edge of the longer edge of this piece, okay? So you have to clip this onto here. The best way to do that is to put little snips into your main body piece here. And it'll kind of help it lay in that curve, okay? So then you want to just move it Just like that. And it should lay in really nice. Beautiful. Just like that. I know it feels weird, but then when it flips out, it lays perfect. All right, so I'm going to take this straight edge here, line it up with this straight edge on the pocket piece, I mean. I like to clip that together first, and then it's easier to fit the rest of this in here. Again, not big clips. Like I'm doing little 1/8 inch snips into that piece. All right, and then it should lay just right. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna sew along that at our seam allowance. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I know it seems weird, but when it comes down after it's sewed, it's a perfect curve. Okay, so that's that side and that's that side. Okay, we're gonna sew that together. Let's do it. Okay, so that's all sewn on. So watch this. It lays perfectly. How cool is that? And then you have your main exterior body piece. Okay, so now I want to top stitch that. But first she wants you to attach your foam to it, and then you top stitch that with the foam behind it, okay? So I'm going to take my basting spray, I'm going to spray it on my foam, and I'm just going to place that onto this piece here. Okay, so I have spray, some of that temporary adhesive spray on the back of this. And I am just going to line it up as best I can here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just want it out of your seams, right? So if it's hanging off on one end, trim it down. And you want your seam going down. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch this piece right here. And then that kind of attaches my foam right there too, which is what we want. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Okay, exterior piece all done. Yep, let's work on our zipper gusset. We're going to work on the zipper gusset. A couple of important things to remember is it's a bigger seam allowance. So you want to switch to a zipper foot if you haven't already. So go ahead and switch to a zipper foot. You need to be able to get that full 3/8 around this. Also, this zipper gusset is shaped differently. So make sure that when you are assembling it, you are doing the correct side. So you don't want to do the straight edge of this first one. You want to do the curved edge. This is the back part of the zipper gusset. You want to do the curved edge, okay? It's going to kind of, you know, be kind of funky when you're sewing it with that curve, but then when the bag is all assembled and put together, it lays great. So the way that she put this together is really awesome. Trust the process. It'll work out. So I'm going to do some tape to keep mine in place instead of basting. You are more than welcome to baste. I just prefer taping. So totally up to you. So I'm going to lay my zipper right side down with my exterior along this curved edge. Okay. And just kind of tape that all in place there. And I'll put my zipper pull on after I assemble my gusset. It's just kind of nice not to have to fight with any zipper pulls as I do this. All right, so I've got that on first, and then I'm going to put the lining on top of that. All right, so again, the curved, we're dealing with the curved edge. You want it right sides facing in, right sides in for those pieces. And then your zipper is in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to sew this on at my full seam allowance using that zipper foot. Because of the shape of the pieces that we attach onto this zipper panel when we're done, it is important that you do the full seam allowance and get that part correct, because it's not an easy one to adjust. If you only want to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance, it'll not be an easy one to trim down. So try your hardest to get the actual full seam allowance for this pattern. All right, and then I want to fold my pieces, right sides facing out like this, and then we will top stitch and baste these together. Again, it's going to be a weird curved piece, and that's what we want. It fits perfectly on the bag. She designed this so cool. You guys will love it. Tara is a genius at designing bags. These brains of these designers just floor me sometimes. It's pretty awesome. I like to just clip these layers together because I'm using the bonded poly, and it tends to, or bonded nylon, and it tends to slip a bit. So I like to just make sure it's all clipped out together. All right, so I'm going to top stitch. And then I'm just going to baste the 2 layers together. Okay, it's got like that curve to it, right? Because it's going to be like this on the bag. So it's going to lay kind of funky when it's down like that because it has that curve in it. All right, so now we want to, I like to get my pattern piece out to make sure you could mark it too. So this curved out edge is the edge I want my zipper on. My vinyl may have a tiny bit of a stretch to it too, so hopefully it turns out okay. I think it'll be fine. All right, so I want to line up along this curved edge. My centered marks right there. Here we go. Okay, and then I'm going to do another piece of tape and sandwich my lining. Okay, right sides together. There we go. Okay, so at my full seam allowance. Okay, and then same thing, I'm going to press it out, top stitch, and baste. So there's our gusset. So it'll be turned and on our bag like that. It looks good. Before you go any further and put your zipper pulls on, just get your gusset end pieces and see if they match. Oops. See if they match the width. Beautiful. Do you see how it's the same width? That's what you want, okay? I am going to put my zipper pulls on and trim it down. And then we will attach the gussets. Okay, so there's my poles. I'm just going to trim this so it's at that slant, just like that. And then I'll melt the edges. Next up. Okay, I'm going to take my gusset in pieces. So you want them laying, make sure you have them positioned correctly. So it's going this way. That's correct. If it's going with the gusset, that is incorrect. Okay, or with the zipper panel, I mean. You want it kind of diagonal, V shape with it. All right, so I'm going to clip it along that edge, right sides together. And it should run just the length of this end very nicely. I'm going to baste this on so it stays in place, and then we'll add the lining to the back. And I did change back to my normal foot as well. We're done needing a zipper foot. So if you had a zipper foot on, you can go ahead and change it back. All right, and then I want my lining piece to match with this exterior gusset piece, right? So it'll be a V again, I guess is what you call it. I don't know. Just trying to give you guys a visual. She has a good picture in the pattern of it too. So this is what it needs to look like, okay? Front, back, right sides together. Now I'm gonna do the full seam allowance along that edge. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it, and when you turn it, it should lay really nice and straight like that. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch and then baste the two layers together. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, beautiful. Okay, we're going to repeat for this other side. Okay, so baste this end first. And then we'll sew the lining on, full seam allowance. So if you're having the issue of one side being correct and the other side not looking correct, make sure that you have mirrored these gusset pieces when you cut them out. Because if you didn't mirror them, only one side will work, okay? Okay. I'm going to take it around and go the other way to baste because that was awkward when I did it earlier. Got a weird thread poking out right there. Okay, so that's what it should look like when you're done. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this right here because I want to mark the bottom center of this. Okay, right along there. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Kind of an awkward little piece, but mark that. Okay, beautiful. We need to add our connectors on real quick. So make sure you know which is the front and the back. So the smaller panel of the zipper panel is the front. The bigger one is the back, okay? So along this side right here, my ruler fell in the trash. We're gonna place our D-ring along the back paneled side. And the measurement is in the pattern for the placement, okay? And you want this hanging off about a 1/2 inch right there. Just like that. And we're gonna baste that into place. Make sure that your D-ring is placed on the inside of your bag, not hanging off the edge, okay? So now I want to place the other D-ring along the back side on this side. Same thing. Right there. Okay, awesome. I'm going to get my last piece, which is my main lining piece and my main exterior piece. And we want to sandwich these two together because we are binding this bag, okay? So we just need right sides out, wrong sides in, and we are just basting these two layers together. And I'm clipping mine just to make sure it's all where it needs to be. Yeah, that happened last time. My lining's just a touch bigger, which I think just has to do with this whole seam allowance here and like how it lays. So it's fine. Okay, so I am going to baste this all together. Beautiful. It looks like it just is a little bit bigger right there. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to trim that down even. You just want it to be even with your, both layers, okay? Beautiful. Okay, so I want to mark my centers, which I have marked on these two. But I also want to mark down here. And I think on the pattern now she has all of these placement markings on the pattern piece. So pay attention to that. That might be super helpful. Okay. We are now going to put this all together. So I want to make sure that everything is laying correctly. All right. Oh, no, you know what else we need to add? My strap. Okay, we want the strap on first. So let's baste this. I want it centered, which is pretty okay, along this back part. Right here. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna baste that on. Okay, I'm just gonna trim that down with the curve there. Beautiful. There, now we're ready. Okay, I've got my gusset here. Okay, so you want to make sure you're placing it correctly. So this is the back of my bag. This is the front of my bag. And then this is the back of my bag. I'm going to line it up here at this top edge in the back here. And I've got all of my centers already marked. Okay, and I like to use my bigger metal clips that hold better for this. Okay, so clip that first. And then I'm going to bring it down here and match the bottom of the gusset with the center mark that we made on the body. And clip that. I'm going to be fighting this strap probably. I'm going to try and clip it up out of my way. Okay, so that's what that, okay, center and down here. You can go ahead and do the same here. Pull the other side up. Oops, let me get my stronger clips. Silly, silly. All right, and then I'm going to bring it down. I like to get all my centers clipped first before I go any farther. So once you get all of those clipped, the rest kind of falls into place and it's a little easier. Okay, so that's what it should look like when it's all on. And now we're going to clip all the rest of this into place. I'll probably do some snips along my main body piece, along these curves if I need to. But we're going to get this all clipped into place. And then we're going to work on sewing it all together. Okay, it's all clipped in. It looks good. I like to do mine a certain way. There's different ways you can do this. I like to baste first. This whole entire thing, I'm going to baste it all together first. So then when I go in for my full seam allowance, it doesn't move on me. You can use staples if you prefer. I would definitely recommend something though, because I think it will slip if you try and just go at it at your full seam allowance at the very beginning. So I'm going to go all the way around at a 1/8 inch seam allowance first. And then I will do my full 3/8, and then I will add my elastic. So here we go. I'm going to try it from this angle and see if you guys can see this better. This part's always a struggle for me to show. So here we go. So I'm going to baste first. because of the shape of this bag, it was a little bit rough going around this top with it that direction. So to come around here, I'm just going to turn it flat this way now and come the rest of the way up. I'll probably do that when I sew it together at the full seam allowance too. It's just because of the shape and how we put together the bag that it makes it a little awkward. It's a little easier to sew it with it on the table like this. So I should have done that on the other side too. That's what I would recommend, but you don't have to do that, but that's what I'd recommend. Okay, I should have it all basted together now. Move my clips. Okay, so my layers are all there. Just trying to show the camera here. It looks good. Like, I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to sew it all at my full seam allowance all the way around, and then we'll add on our elastic. All right, so as you saw, I like resituated and went a different way depending on what area I was in. And that just takes knowing how you like to sew things. So I like to sew bottom rounded areas with my gusset down. Sorry, gusset down. And I like to sew the zipper panel area here with my zipper panel gusset up. And the main panel down on the machine. So I just kind of flipped it over depending on what area I was in, but we're all sewn. I'm going to give it a good look on the inside, make sure it looks good, and then we're going to put on our binding. Okay, I'm using fold over elastic. I had pink out, but I'm going to switch to this dark gray because my, I'm using dark spruce thread, and I feel like I want the thread to match the binding, and I want dark thread because the outside material is black vinyl. So if any stitching shows, I want it to kind of blend. So yeah, so that's why I'm doing this. So I am going to kind of, I think this is about the right length. I may have to trim it down a bit. So what I'm going to do is just start. It's harder to measure this out beforehand with this shape of bag. So I'm going to start by just kind of clipping it on and stretching as I go. And then when I get to the end here, I'll take a few off and sew the two ends together. So it's one continuous piece. So I give it a little bit of a stretch as I go along, and that will help it all stay in place as you sew your fold over elastic. I think a lot of people have issues with it because it's not stretched out across their seam, and so the elastic tends to move as they sew, and it just makes a mess. You want it to stay in place, so you want it to stretch, not a ton, but enough that it's not going to go anywhere super easy. I know that doesn't help much, but it's kind of a trial and error type of thing. See on this thicker seam down here where my pocket and stuff is, it doesn't lay over that seam as even. So make sure you're getting it on both sides. Okay, this will take me a minute. And then we'll sew this on and turn it out. All right, so now that I've come down to here, I can kind of see the length I want it. So I'm going to take this off here. I want it to connect about right there. So I'm going to trim that off. Okay. And then I'm going to sew these two ends together. I pulled out my thread on my machine. I'm going to sew the two ends together so it's one continuous piece. And then we're ready to sew it on. So I'm going to go like this. And like that. And then I'll trim this little seam down. Okay, and now it should fit. There we are. Awesome. Okay, so I have that clipped on all the way around. I am going to sew the elastic on, fingers crossed that I don't miss, you know, some on the other side. That happens. It's hard to navigate both sides of it, especially on the thicker parts here. So just kind of give it a good look. Make sure it looks pretty even. Okay, trying to think which way I want to do this. Maybe I'll try it that way. I may have to stop and change positions. We shall see. All right, let's go. I like to do this at about a 1/4 seam allowance. You can see why I sewed it the other way. We were attaching it. It's kind of awkward this way, huh? May have to do it differently on the other side. That was a bit weird. I'm going to come here and finish going around, and then I'll come back and do this corner down here. Just because of the shape of the bag. It's just easier for me that way. Again, just do what you're comfortable with. Come on. All right, all I have is this one little corner down here. Get that, and then we're done. I'm gonna see if I got all my layers. Looks like we're good. It looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this last little bit down here. It's easier for me with the bag going this way. Let's do it. Yeah, much easier with it laying down. All right. Now we have to turn it right side out and see what it looks like. Hopefully it's all good. I'm just going to double check that all my fold over elastic is caught on both sides. Get any of those little threads that you need to there. Looks good. I'm happy with it. All right, we are going to turn this cutie out. Okay, let's do it. Oh my goodness, I think we did it. It's looking good. Get all of my seams pressed out here. Yep, my curves look good. No puckers. Yay! Oh, I really like the vinyl strap. Okay. Oh my gosh. Such a cute bag. Oh, such a cute bag. Look at that. All right, so I just need to add on my hardware for my strap and we're done. So I'm gonna get that real quick. It's super easy. You just put the slide on first here, up and over. Okay, just like that. And then you loop it through your hardware here, your snap hook. And then you want to go up and over. And if you want to try this on first, in case you have to trim down your webbing, you could just clip this into place and then try it on. All right, okay, so it goes up and over the inside part of the slider. And then this right here, I'm gonna do a little double fold and I will sew that together. I'll sew these two together. So I'm gonna do a little fold over right there to hide my raw edge and kind of make sure it doesn't unravel. Okay, just like that. And then I will sew this on. So when it's done, it looks like that. And then we'll clip it and we'll try it on. Yay, all done. Okay, we're all done. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's so cute. Obviously, wear on your back. I'm so used to wearing slings on my front now that it feels weird on my back. Now, mine is tightened all the way and it hangs there. Like this strap is tightened all the way and I cut my webbing 2 inches shorter than what the pattern says. So if you're a smaller person, you may want to take out some of the length in the webbing, but that's what mine looks like. I absolutely love it. It's such a cute pattern. All right, that is it for me. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful for this adorable Bag of the Month club by Tara and UhOh Creations. She did such a good job. Go check out Bag of the Month Club. They do 3 months. You sign up, you get a new design once a month for 3 months. And they're all secret designs. You know who the designers are, but they are secret new bag patterns that you can only get through the club. So go check it out. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.